Ink-a-dink, 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 ink-a-dink. Wow! Hey, Basil, we've got a new corporate sponsor. Comedy Central. And we're... Oh, okay. That's why you couldn't see me, because I couldn't see you either. Okay. Got your tie all... I've got my tie all squared. Now your tie's all squared. Yeah, how come you need me to wear a red tie so you can see me, so you know that I'm actually here, and yet you're wearing a brown, well, kind of sepia-toned Basil tie. Alright? Said, said, apparently he believes that the only color I can see is brown. And as his two-dimensional avatar is kind of black, white, and gray, that I need some brown to figure out that he's there. Fair enough. Okay, so we've got a new corporate sponsor. Of course, we have our old standbys. We have P.A.&W root beer, now in the large economy size, and very great curative powers, obviously, along with the little P.A.&W root beer, and Schweppervescence. So, the curative powers, and it says right on the label, if you look at the label for either P.A.&W root beer, it's the P that makes all the difference, and Schweppes, both of them have on the can, clearly, in letters that are about the size of, I can almost see them, say it contains niacin. And as we learned when, alright, I'll let Basil say it. Said when some idiot picks up a piece of gum just off of a random table, it's not random. He says when some idiot picks up a piece of gum off the table, sticks it in his mouth, you never know what's going to be on it. And if there happens to be something like ricin on it, then you need to have a can of P.A.&W root beer and Schweppervescence available, because they contain niacin, which counteracts ricin. So there you go. Cha-ching! We found another use for these things, and more money and more freebies. And we're still going for the Pepsi account. And okay. Well, since it's he just gave me a wink, so I know exactly what he's gonna say. So it doesn't even have to say it. Said now with the NFL having all its problems this year with players beating up kids, players beating up wives, and certainly the one that's gotten the most airtime and the most talking about, players taking a little air out of some footballs. And we'll be talking more on that today, since it is Super Bowl Sunday Eve. It's Friday night, 10 p.m. Then we could get the Budweiser account, and we could have Clydesdales clodding through here, and there you go, giving us some more A&W root beer and tons of the other letter, or buckets at any rate. So and maybe some a new variety of Hershey's Kisses, big galumphy size pieces of Hershey's Kisses. So at any rate, so new corporate sponsor, Key and Peele on Comedy Central. That's on Friday night, 10 p.m. Wow, his whiskers went to Twittering then. He said, no. Said, that's now. They're on now, and we're advertising a show that's on opposite us. We're on at 10 p.m. And if people want to change the channel to watch Comedy Central, they can watch Key and Peele. Scratch that. Okay. Well, at any rate, we're going to do our show, and no, we're not going to change to Key and Peele and watch them. I know they're funny. They may be the funniest show on television, but we're on. It's our obligation to our corporate sponsors to tape. So here we are. It's Friday night, 10 p.m. And we're on the eve of the Superb Owl. And if you remember last year, we covered the Superb Owl between the Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos in the Meadowlands. Actually, in the Audubon Society in the wet Meadowlands in New Jersey. And everybody was there. Yeah, Basil says, dead. Said Jimmy Hoffa might have even been there, somewhere around the area. So last year, Superb Owl at the Meadowlands, at the Audubon Society of the Meadowlands in New Jersey, just across from New York City, and it was the Seahawks and the Broncos, and we all know that it was a tight game for about 3 minutes until a fellow by the name of Petrol Manning playing horsey missed a ball that was hiked to him. It went past and went into the end zone. Either it was a safety or a touchdown, one or the other. It was a very bad start for a team that went into the game with very high expectations. So at any rate, that was last year. That was this year. Hey, little Jeffrey Peterson, we need to get you a little angled there. And hey, Lara Sky sent along the wizard, who can be perched right on, maybe, perched right on Jeffrey Peterson's shoulder. So the wizard's with us too. Thank you, Lara. So Basil sent this year, he sent a crack team of Cub reporters, or a Cub team of crack reporters, who have been hanging around the set here, and they're not in the hammock, so we know that they're out there. We know that they're out in Arizona to cover the Superb Owl. And those Cub reporters' names, Bill Murray, Stephen Colbert, and Craig Ferguson. And Basil told me in advance he's sending them out there. He told them, you're out there. He's going to give the kids a chance to perform. And if they perform well, then Basil will send them back up in the hammock, and they can stay up there and have the cushiest job in television. So this Super Bowl, which we use the Roman numerals to describe our Super Bowl. Why? Well, there's never been anybody from Rome that ever played in a Super Bowl. The Super Bowl's never been played in Rome, never been played in Italy, never been played outside of the United States. But for some reason, I guess it's the gladiatorial touch. But Super Bowls always have Roman numerals. And this year, because it's Super Bowl, well, we'll say 49, although we're not supposed to say it that way. The way we're supposed to say it is Super Bowl IL. And that's the Roman numeral for 49. And IL. That's weird. IL. Well, I gotta still getting the hey. Okay, which phone is it? It's the Inky Dinky phone. Matter of fact, it's not even the Inky Dinky phone. It's the tip at the end of the harmonica phone. So we know it's got to be somebody that's really not of any consequence. But well, let's answer it. We always answer on this phone for some reason. Okay, good evening, good Friday evening on the eve of Superb Owl IL. Thank you for calling Basil BuddhaCat. And who do we have on the phone? Tweety. Well, Tweety's still here. Okay. Tweety, yep, it says we traced the call to a hidden location in North Korea in a little spot where there's banquet tables as they prepare to watch the superb owl. Inside and outside, outside there's bird seed on the ground, and the pigeons and 2/3 of the population are fighting over that bird seed. Okay, so it's Kim Jong-il. And is there a reason why you're calling us on Friday night on the eve of Super Bowl? I mean, Superb Owl. Copyrighted name, we can't say it. You're calling on the eve of Superb Owl, IL, because, he's screaming through the phone something about copyright infringement on his name that we should not be able to use, nor should the NFL be able to use, or to even hold a Superb Owl IL, because that's his family name. I can hear you. Okay, so that's his family name. So he says that he's going to gather together one of his the money that he spends on a couple of banquet tables full of food for him, and maybe even a little bird seed, because the peasants don't need the bird seed that badly, nor do the pigeons. And he's going to sue. He's going to sue us. Basil is going to sue us. He's going to sue the National Football League, and he's going to sue the city of Rome for stealing his eel, IL. Basil. He said, Mr. Ill, and you and your father, Kim Jong-il, and your uncle mentally should probably take that up with other people, because we're not even talking about the superb. We're talking about the Superb Owl. Anyway, we're not talking about that other game that. Okay, this one's being played actually. This game is being played. The one we're sending our folks out to cover, our cub reporters out to cover, is actually being played also in Tempe, Arizona, but not in the stadium which holds the what used to be Chicago Cardinals, what used to be St. Louis Cardinals, what used to be is now currently Arizona Cardinals. But it's actually being played in a very large birdhouse on the outskirts of the parking lot. So that's it. So and Cardinals, Sis Boom Ba, not in the game. But now, why did they get the game in Arizona, at the home of the Arizona Cardinals, when they're not even in the Superb Owl? Basil says, question mark, meow. Says, don't ask him. He has no idea. So there you go. So we got things to talk about. We got reporters out there. We've got important things to discuss, and take it up with somebody else. Thanks for calling, though. Bye. Wow. This is getting complicated, and we're 14 minutes into the show, and we haven't accomplished much so far. Well, at any rate, so here we go. They've got the Friday night big hoop-de-doo in advance of the big Sunday hoop-de-doo, and we better talk about the teams. Okay, we've got again the Seattle Seahawks. And they've gone there twice in a row now. And they're playing against, this time, the heck are they playing against? Let's see. We better get. Okay, I'm going to get. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I've got Bill Murray, Stephen Colbert, and Craig Ferguson on the phone because they're out there. I mean, they're the ones that know what's going on out there because they're out there. So it's the Seattle Seahawks. They're scratching their heads apparently now too because I hear them. It's the Seattle Seahawks playing the New England Pugs. Okay, got that. Okay, so big story. They're out there covering and all kinds of stuff flying around. All kinds of hoodoo and stuff flying around because apparently there's a couple of controversies involved in this. A couple of controversies that are being talked about right this minute, and I hear it in the background. I hear there's the coach of the New England Pugs, Bill Idgerant, okay, and the quarterback of the New England Pugs, Tom Bruder. Now, well named, I guess, because that's pretty much how they are. The personalities. Bill Idgerant is aggressive and angry and almost as angry as the owner of the team, whose name shall go unmentioned. But on the other hand, you've got Tom Bruder. Now, Tom Bruder, I mean, pretty much everything he says is, "Well, you're picking on me. You're picking on me. Stop picking on me." And then he puts his big mopey face on. And then Bill Idgerant jumps in, and he's got the angry face and the beady eyes and that's it. And so that's what we're hearing back, at least for the last couple of days, from Bill Murray, Stephen Colbert, and Craig Ferguson, who's out there. Now, little Jeffrey Peterson is here, and he's here because we've got the wizard from Laris Guy that Laris Guy sent to me up on little Jeffrey Peterson's shoulder. Okay? So here you go. So the big stories this year, there's two of them. And one of them's called Formation Gate. And in that situation, apparently, one of the in the playoff game against I think it was the Indianapolis Colts. And these horse teams, and they don't have much of a chance anymore, do they? Okay, now Basil said horses are so passé. Matter of fact, Cardinals passé. Basil says, I've been a horse. I've been a cardinal. I've been a pig. I've been a wizard, he says. I've been a skeleton, not quite yet. I've been everything. I've been a can of Schweppes. I've been a Baraka. What the double? What the? I've been everything, and now I'm Basil. Okay. So we've got these two stories. We've got Formation Gate, where the New England Pugs in their game against the Indianapolis Colts. Might have been a game against the Ravens, but they're birds too. They don't count either because they're not cats. How come there's no cats teams in the Superb Owl? Basil said the Cincinnati Bengals and the Jacksonville Jaguars really, they're too big and galumpy. They're not live like a Maine Coon with a Manx tail would be. So they're kind of big and galumpy, and you got teams there that have 11 400-pound defensive ends or tackles or guards or the ones that are like 400 pounds. You got 11 on that team with that, and they can never win a game. They can't run both of them more than about 10 or 20 yards without keeling over and needing to take a 2-minute break. And you can't get it. You can't get a timeout 50 times in a game. So that's why they stink. So the New England Pugs and their deflate gate. Well, Formation Gate first, deflate gate later. The Formation Gate thing is that they had 11 guys on the field, and they brought a guy in that looked like he was an eligible receiver, that he was somebody that he was in a position where he was allowed to be an eligible receiver as opposed to an ineligible receiver. And because of that, the Indianapolis Colts had a guy watching him because he could catch a pass, so you got to cover the guy. But right before the play, he looked at the referee and said, "Oh, by the way, I'm not eligible. So here's 7 guys or 8 guys, or I don't know, might have been 10 guys. Might have been everybody but the quarterback had to be guarded by defensive receivers, defensive players. And because of that, you had a guy wide open, and the Patriots threw the ball to him, and they won the game by a lot of points anyway. So it really didn't make a lot of difference. But I'll tell you what, it was one of the smartest plays ever, one of the trickiest uses of the rule book that I've ever seen. And I hand it out to that sneaky belligerent. He's a sneaky guy. He knows the rules, he knows them well enough. This is the first time ever in the history of professional sports that anybody has actually done something that sneaky, and it's been legal, because the player was supposedly eligible to receive a pass, and then turns to the referee right before the play starts and says, "Oh, by the way, I'm not eligible. I'm not an eligible receiver." And the defense had no time to adjust to it. So voila, there's a 20-yard pass for a first down, and in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that big of a deal, but it was covered for days. And they're probably going to have to make a change in the rules. And here's the change. All you have to do is make sure that the defensive team has to be notified of any change in who's eligible as a receiver before the ball is snapped. So at least they have time to know and to react a little bit to to what's being done by the offensive team. Simple enough. Okay. Now we get on to the really good story. And that's Deflategate. Now, we had a couple little problems with the NFL during the regular season. A couple little things about players beating up their wives and dragging them around by the hair. And, common everyday occurrences for professional athletes. And they also had the business with a guy paddling his son with the tree branch. And the tree branch was about 20 feet long and probably only could be handled and carried by somebody as strong as a football player or other wrestler, boxer, some professional athlete at any rate. And beat the tar out of his kid. And he said, "Well, my parents did that to me, so it's perfectly normal behavior." And he was chastised. He lost his bathroom privileges with the team or something like that. Maybe he had to miss a couple of minutes of a game while he was in the locker room beating somebody else or somebody else's kid, or beating his own kid again, because you never know. Kids can never be beat too much. This is important to recall. Important to make note of. Kids, you can never be beat too much. Right, Jeffrey? There you go. Wizard? Jeffrey said, "Can't beat me anymore. You'll get marks on your hands. Or marks on a tree branch, or whatever you use to beat me. You're going to get the worst of it when you hit my bones." So, okay, so here's the big deal. So we've got Coach Belligerent and Coach Tom Bruder, and we hear him in the background answering questions about these two subjects, Formation Gate and Deflate Gate. Okay, and they got a couple of different names. They've got different names for both of them, and it must be the Deflate game that they're talking about, because here's a couple of new ways to approach it. There's it's Friday night, so I guess I can do this without there being any ramifications, and we won't lose any viewership at any rate. So the two terms that they use are squirt gate, and I don't know why they've come up with these. But they came up with Squirtgate and Limpgate. Ooh. Yeah. So Squirtgate and Limpgate, those are the two things. And those are the two things. So, what's going on? Hey, Bill, Stephen, Craig, talk to me. What's going on? I hear there's some sort of scuffle going on in the room there where the interview's taking place. It's like a melee going on in there. Hey, you guys are supposed to be reporting back. It sounds like there's actually I hear police whistles. There's something going on with what the?
They say they'd rob your grandma blind on Wall Street, fritter her away her Medicare on Wall Street. And Pharma Oil and their pet fox don't care if she lives in a box, so long as they wear platinum jocks on Wall Street, Meow.